This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com in review. What I'm looking at today is 2020's Away, a new series that debuted over the weekend on Netflix. And I really enjoyed this show. It's 10 episodes, which for a series can be too long, but it deals okay with it. It drags a little bit in places, but on the whole, it works, even with 10 episodes. And I knew I would like this when I saw, I want to say it's the third episode, where a Russian and American are going to repair the solar panel on their spaceship. And neither tries to kill each other, and they generally try to work to accomplish the goal. The movie revolves around the first manned mission to Mars, and it's an international crew led by Hilary Swank, and it's very well acted. And in fact, it reminds me quite a bit of Another Life, another Netflix show starring Katie Sackhoff. And it's really, really similar, except that Away is just a better show. It's less science fiction-y, more than science fact-ish. I thought I'd ish in there because while it does aim for realism, there are certain things that aren't, such as, for instance, the interior design of the ship that they're in itself. Now, this is not unique to this series, and in fact, most movies do the same thing. It's the idea that you have these very production-designed interiors. Though, if you've seen images of the, let's say, the space shuttle or International Space Station, you know they're not this clean. They're not as good-looking as the structures in this movie. But that's okay, because that's to be expected. Though, I think the realism of the series most comes into play less with the design, I should say the production design, than the relationships between people. The crew of the Atlas, which is the name of the spaceship they're on, is international. So you have someone from, I want to say India, someone from Africa, no, actually it's Great Britain. He came to Great Britain by way of Africa, but he's British. And a Russian astronaut and a Chinese astronaut, or I should say Russian cosmonaut and a Chinese astronaut. And they're not only dealing with the situation in the ship, but things in their personal life as well. And this is where Away could have really fallen apart. And it's something I don't think worked particularly well with Another Life. Namely, that divide between what's happening aboard the spacecraft and what's happening with the people who love these individuals at home on Earth. And Away does it better, which is to say that I didn't find myself getting irritated with the people who weren't actually participating directly in what was going on. Everyone acts really well so that you become, at least to some extent, invested in their lives, whether or not they're in space or they're on Earth. And speaking of actors, there's a lady who plays I think she's the mission commander at NASA, and she's an interesting choice for the role. She doesn't, at least visually to me, fit, but at the same time she acts really good. And I mean, who hasn't worked at a job where you've seen people who you thought don't necessarily belong there, but they are there in any case? So that's like my own thing. It's not that big a deal, and everyone works really well in the roles they're playing. It's very realistic in terms of the relationships. So if there are moments you feel you're getting a little weepy, don't be shocked, because as I said, it's well acted and the relationships are really on point. If there were a problem with it, I'd have to say it's that there has to be reasons for conflict. So sometimes it feels like it's trying too hard to create one. As I said, it lasts 10 episodes, but it seems like every episode, or close to it, there's something going wrong somewhere, either on a ship or in these people's home lives. And it is a drama, I get that, but not everything needs to be dramatic. Every time something goes wrong, there's the inevitable debates and arguments before they make up. Now, a lot of this, I understand, was being used to unite the crew, because particularly in the case of the Russian cosmonaut and the Chinese astronaut, they were extremely suspicious of their American counterpart who was commanding the mission. And so over the course of this series, you see them begin to change and begin to accept her and her accept them in turn. So you see what they're doing, and it for the most part works. Though it gets a little difficult when, as I said, it becomes a little transparent and it looks more like script and plot mechanics than actual people interacting with each other. Though that doesn't happen a lot, so it doesn't really call attention to itself all the time, but it irritates enough when it does. Though that being said, Away is really strong, very well acted, a great ensemble cast, and it's worth watching. It's really enjoyable. I think that it could probably be watched by an entire family. I want to say, I don't even recall there being curses. I'm sure there are, though I don't recall them. And frankly, most children have heard curses anyway, so if they wanted to watch this with you, I certainly would let them. It's very wholesome, it's very interesting. The FX is good. There are little wonky moments, but on the whole, it holds together really well. And I think you will really enjoy Away. This is Brian with ScreenFiles.com and review. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below. And since you're there, consider a like or a follow. Peace.